Leclerc. Clary car.
That's right, Clary off again, I think, unfortunately. But this is Michael Krum. Look how quickly he's caught the Ford here, the championship leader. And Michael Krum was stunning this morning in the wet, and he's showing tremendous pace. Bertrand Baguette can't get the power down. Here comes the Nissan. He's going to make the move up at the back of the straight, and Michael Krum moves up into 5th place.
Yeah, an easy pass for Michael Krum. He got the power on earlier, he got it on harder, he got the drive up the inside once alongside the Ford. Nothing that Baguette could do. He was just simply out-positioned, outgunned up into turn 10.
Well, keep an eye on Michael Krum. He's certainly lapping fast at the moment. I wonder if he can put any pressure on the Aston Martins up ahead. But this is working so well for him. But mind you, the race is being led by one of his rivals in terms of the Drivers' Championship, and that is Andrea Piccini. Now, Piccini and Hohen Ardel, who share the number 4 Aston Martin, coming into this race in 3rd place in the points, some 16 points behind Krum and Law. So Krum does really want to pick off at least one of those Astons now.
Yeah, damage to the Baz Landers car. There again, contact with one of the two Nissans. I think it was 23.
No, it was 21, David Brabham.
David Brabham. So anyway, contact, and that's going to go round and around. And don't drive onto the grass.
No, I think hopefully they've learned that one. They were told in the driver's briefing, make sure reverse gear. Well, let's take another look at this. Yeah, side by side.
Baz will feel, well, that was my corner. And this hand was right tight onto the right-hand side of the track. He probably wasn't clear to where, how far up there is the number 10. That's the Leclerc car beached in the gravel. And, well, two cars in slightly precarious positions. We wait to see whether that's going to change the circumstance of a safety car or not.
Yeah, Jan Clary's had a miserable weekend. Really hasn't got on too well with the track or the conditions. But let's see, up front, leading Andrea Piccini in the Hexis Aston Martin, winner at the Saxon Ring earlier on this year. So we see 2nd and 3rd place cars. Darren Turner is still holding on to 2nd. Alex Muller is in 3rd place, but 4th place and on a charge is Michael Krum. What was his last lap time? Well, it was 4/10 faster than the Aston Martins ahead of him. So Michael Krum, the wet weather specialist here at Golden Port, is definitely trying to close that gap.
But remember, he is in effect in clear air. He's not having to defend, or he's not having to fight as these two young driver Astons. They've now separated a bit more than they were a couple of laps ago. So for Michael Krum, all he's got to do is focus on those cars ahead. And once he gets to the tail of the Muller car, then his life may become a little bit more difficult.
On board with the race leader here, Andrea Piccini.
Very, very cautious.
Yeah.
They were easy on the brakes, rolling the car into the corner, not standing the car on its nose, not causing twitches and nervous actions. As we look and see Corvette now trying to make a move up the inside.
That's past Dumbrek. Well, that's Nico Verdonk. He's a brave guy, isn't he? And he's got up the inside there of Peter Dumbrek.
Yeah, into turn 10. Got a good run on a 9 up the hill, got alongside the Nissan, and nothing very much Peter Dumbrek was able to do about it.
No, just didn't have the grip or the traction. So Dumbrek's been pushed back down to 8th place.
And Nico Verdonk has been very impressive in this car, certainly this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. That was the end of the move once again. Just had the run.
Peter Dumbrek wisely didn't challenge, hoped to maybe cut back one of the Fords running slowly.
Yeah, now which one is that? Is that, oh, I think it might be Baguette's car. No, it's not, it's Linder still, that's right. So Baguette's still running in 5th place, but of course the car that was leading, Bertrand Baguette's car, when it was in the hands of Max Martin, not showing anything like the same pace as when Max was driving it. Mind you, of course, Max has been driving it all year, knows the car inside out. Baz Landers getting out of the way of the race leaders there as they come through. Andrea Piccini with this 2.8 second advantage over Darren Turner in 2nd place, Alex Muller in 3rd, but bearing down on them. Michael Krum, he only gained 2/10 on the last lap, but each one counts, and there are still 21 minutes to go in this race as Hexis Racing are looking at potentially a victory and the lead in the team's championship.
Those 25 points right now look very appealing indeed. It's still 20 minutes, 50 seconds to go. A lot going to happen in those 20 minutes, so don't count any results until the flag falls.
Piccini still 3/10 quicker than Darren Turner on that last lap, but quicker than all of them by a fraction was Michael Krum. So Krum it is who is bearing down on the Astons. Are Aston Martin really going to be able to hold on to a 1-2-3, or will Nissan spoil the party with Works Nissan driver Michael Krum, who's done so much with Nissan over the years in Japan and now showing what he can do properly on the world stage. He loves the wet conditions. He is such a smart guy when it comes to driving and getting the most out of a car, and you're riding on board with him. Let's just listen a little bit and watch him at work here. Lovely noise from that V8. He's a left foot braker, and he'll use that left foot braking to try and just bring the car into the apex of the corner. He's just written a book which I read recently about techniques of race car driving. I tell you what, John, there was some wonderful stuff in there, and he's going to be using all of that knowledge and technique in this car, trying to close up the gap.
He actually apologised to me for not getting my free copy, like yours was a free copy, Ben, to me in time. So there we see the Ford Basslanders out of the car, and what a mixed day of fortunes for the Ford Mark VDS team.
Yeah, it's been a difficult day for them. Bass out of the car. He'll go and see what's going on with the other car, but Bertrand Baguette is struggling. Well, not so much. He's only about half a second a lap slower than the Astons at this point, but you better watch out, because otherwise he could come under pressure from Enrique Bernoldi in his Nissan. But you're watching Krum.
Yeah, just in the meantime, Alex Muller's got a bit of a hurry up from the pit wall, I suspect, because he's now lapping 0.3 of a second quicker than Darren Turner and 0.2 of a second quicker than the pursuing Nissan. So he is aware of the potential threat from that Nissan, which is 1.5 seconds behind.
You do see the sort of tyre tracks, but there's no chance of the place drying out. It's still raining hard here in Beijing, but this race has given us a lot to watch for. It started under safety car. We saw problems once they got going, once the safety car released the field. Thomas Enger led the early stages, but we saw a charge from Max Martin that actually got the Ford ahead incredibly before the pit stops were made. But his teammate hasn't had the same pace. That car's now running in 5th place, and the car race being led by Piccini. Let's go down to the pits and hear from Basslanders.
Baz, unfortunately, it really hasn't been your weekend. Can you take us through what happened?
Well, Mark did a very good start. Of course, there was a lot of incidents, so we took advantage of that. We were on position 7, then we pitted. I was behind the Nissan. At the beginning I struggled a little bit because the tires were new, but then when the tires came in I was a lot faster, and I was long side past the pit straight, went into the first corner. I left some space on the inside if needed, and but he hit me on my right rear, and I think again the drive shaft or something is broken.
Thank you.
Well, that is under investigation, I think, that, but we haven't seen any other news on that at the moment. The number 41 car, Bertrand Baguette, the car that led in the hands of Max Martin, still running in 5th place, being chased by Enrique Bernoldi, but behind Bernoldi, John, Verdonk.
Yeah, Verdonk has done the quickest lap of anybody on the last lap, down to a 12.3. He's running down the Nissan, and it's going to be a difficult task for Bernoldi to deny Verdonk, who's been very impressive indeed in the Corvette, and now he's got this position in his sights. That's 6th place. He will put Enrique Bernoldi under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Bernoldi's had...
you know what, he mightn't need half a Grand Prix to get past either.
Bernoldi's had a tough season this year. He will not want to lose that place, but the Corvette looking strong. We're on board with Bertrand Baguette.
Yeah, and that was a handful of opposite log coming through turn 4 as he just gets on the throttle through this double right at 5 and 6. And then briefly straightens the car up through 7 on the brakes. As we see Verdonk again looking to go the long way around. But be careful, he doesn't make it too long into the gravel, but he gets a good drive off the corner. He gets the car straightened up before the Nissan, but I don't think he's close enough to look down the inside. Certainly he shows the nose just to distract Enrique Bernoldi. Yeah,
but Bernoldi's pretty solid in this kind of situation. We'll see how he copes with it. These two are chasing after the Ford of Bertrand Baguette. Although Baguette's getting progressively quicker now as he gets to grips with the car. Nicky Katzberg, teammate to Enrique Bernoldi, looking a little nervous. Is that Corvette going to get past his car? The way Nico Verdonk's driving it, it might well do, but it's not going to be at all easy to do so. And Verdonk impressing us. He didn't get much chance to show what he could do at Navarra because Mike Hazeman's had technical problems with the car, suffered a puncture in one of the races as well, so he didn't really get much running. But this weekend, Verdonk has been very strong indeed.
Well, he's going to make a move at some point. He'll get frustrated sitting behind the Nissan, not close enough, but again, just wedges the nose of the Corvette up the inside. Gets almost alongside, but doesn't get the drive out of turn 4. has to yield going into 5. He's got another opportunity going into turn 8. He's closer this time. He might have a chance if he's going to be brave about it. Looks down the inside, puts the Corvette into position, gets the pass, but the Nissan makes the switch back. Can the Corvette control it on the drag up the longest straight here in Beijing?
This is good stuff, side-by-side action. Good respect so far between Bernoldi and Verdonk. And Bernoldi's almost there. Oh, yeah, he just turns in, and the Corvette has to give it up. And great racing.
But he's got the drive now, coming through 11 and 12. He'll have a look up the inside into 13. He's not going to give up the position he held, what, for 5 seconds.
And Bernoldi, well, he gave him the space to work with. Verdonk got through briefly, but Bernoldi was able to come back. So you've got a classic confrontation. Both front-engine V8 supercars, of course. The big, tall Nissan versus the low, lithe Corvette that's had so much success around the globe in GT racing for so many years. And Nico Verdonk showing there's still life in the old dog. That Corvette looking very impressive, but he's got to find another opportunity now to try and get past the Nissan.
Well, he forced the situation going into turn 8, but of course he overran the corner, allowed the Nissan to make the switch back, and then once they got onto that short straight up to turn 10, it was all in favour of Enrique Bernoldi, and as you mentioned, he knows how to defend cleanly and also frustrate back down the inside again. This time he's going to hold the Nissan. I think he's certainly in the better position of the two. Have they got the Mumba to get the car up the straight to match the Nissan? No, he doesn't.
And Bernoldi was just about able to get across the front of the car, perfectly entitled to do that, to defend into the next corner. And this is a real cat and mouse game between Enrique Bernoldi and Nico Verdonk, and it's great seeing Bernoldi have a chance. Oh, but here's got Verdonk.
Oh, super job.
Fantastic. He's got up the inside into the last corner. Oh, they're still side by side. Bernoldi will not give it away.
Good, clean racing, hard racing in very difficult conditions. Down the inside into turn 1. Is he far enough up? Oh, I mean, that was within a wafer of having a collision back of the Nissan front of the Corvette.
This is what racing's all about. I tell you, these guys will be loving it. They both did the karts race that was held at Navarra, which Nico Verdonk won, by the way. That was earlier on this season, and now it's a bit like a kart race. They're swapping, changing, and each of them so far giving each other enough room to work with. And remember, they're battling for 6th place here behind Bertrand Bagat, who's 5th. But up front is still Andrea Piccini leading in the Hexus Aston Martin. Now, this is the area where we've seen the moves made. He's not quite close enough this time.
The problem is you go down the inside, you lose your momentum because the grip is less. You've got a tighter corner to make. The car, if it can maintain its arc around the outside, will get the drive. And with the power the Nissan has got, the torque it can just out-drag pretty much anything.
So on board with Nico Verdonk as he tries to attack, tries to get past Enrique Bernoldi, and not only get past him, but make the move stick.
By the way, those straps coming down from the roof, those are to pull the seat belts away when the drivers make their pit stop changes. They're retained by the straps. When the driver gets back in, then he can pull them. It's not some form of medieval torture.
No, it looks a bit weird, doesn't it, with those straps. And he's wiping the window to try and see the mirror. He actually hasn't got anyone behind him at the moment, but he wants to have a quick glimpse in the mirror. So it's very hard to see anything. He's dealing with trying to get past the Nissan and concentrating on what else is around him. Under braking, Bernoldi's car just twitching, but they're so evenly matched, these two, and they're putting on a great show here in Beijing for us. All over 6th place, Bernoldi having probably his most fun race of the whole season.
He hasn't had too many of them, and he hasn't smiled a great deal, but this will be something he will enjoy. Again, the Corvette takes the long line, trying to get the drive, trying to get the traction, while the Nissan's scrabbling again under the rear wing, but the Nissan's just got so much where it counts. Up the hill, goes to the left to defend the corner. Again, an opportunity for the switchback for the Corvette. It should have a marginally better exit out of the corner, but through the left, through the right and the left, and then the run down into turn 13. He did it once, he dived on the inside, but couldn't make it stick.
So again, Verdonk trying to get the nose of the Corvette tucked in the inside, but Enrique Bernoldi, so experienced, a Formula 1 driver of great repute, of course. Well, famously a great instant. Let's have a look at Nico Verdonk. He's got to the inside line this time.
Yeah.
Oh, good exit out of the previous corner.
He did all that work coming into 13. He got the car in position. He got the run off turn 14. He compromised Bernoldi by getting down alongside him before the braking zone. Once he had done that, then turn 1 was the Corvette's.
I think you'll see the Corvette run away a bit. There is Michael Rossi, teammate. He says thumbs up that, and at last we've got past Bernoldi. But fair play to Benoldi. He drove beautifully there, very defensive, but it was up to Verdonk to find a way past.
Yeah, all about exit speed. The Corvette quicker off the final turn, got alongside before the braking. Enrique Benoldi knew the game was up. He had been soused, but a great battle for, 6-7 laps between these two cars.
Yeah.
There's the onboard. Benoldi inevitably had to yield position to the quicker car on the day.
Yeah, disappointment for Nicky Katzberg because they've lost that place, but an entertaining tussle, no doubt about it, between those two. So, what's happening up front? There is your race leader. Aston Martin 1, 2, 3 with Andrea Piccini leading, Darren Turner in second and Alex Muller in third. But let's go, we've got an opportunity to speak to the man who was in the lead car earlier on, Christian Hohenadel.
Christian, once again, it's a battle of the Aston Martins, but can you be the fastest this time?
I'm not sure. It's quite difficult here. You have to do no mistake at all. I think the important thing is stay on the track, collecting points. At the moment, it looks very good for us. It's 10 minutes to go. We are still in the lead. But in terms of the championship, we have to finish the race, and that is the important thing so far.
Thank you.
And if they finish where they are, and if Michael Krum, who has got a bit closer to the back of that Aston Martin, doesn't get past Alex Muller, then the gap between them will be actually very close to the points going into Argentina. You know, this victory, if it holds for Piccini and Hohenadel, will mean that we will have a very tight tussle going into the final rounds. It won't be with Basseng and Winkelhock, but it will be Piccini and Hohenadel versus Krum here and Lucas Luhr.
And suddenly Michael Krum has found pace where the lead three cars are all hovering around similar lap times. Michael Krum picked up half a second there. You see 0.8 of a second on lap 35. It's pretty much status quo on lap 34. But suddenly Michael Krum is getting grip and traction and is going to challenge Alex Muller for the third place in the Gulf Young Driver Aston Martin.
Yeah, Krum has been consistently fast, but what he cannot do, John, is take any big risks because they've got the championship lead. If it stays as it is, they'll still be leading the championship going into the final rounds in Argentina. But on the other hand, I suppose, they'll also be aware that the car that's leading this race will be right with them in the points if it stays like this.
Just under 8 minutes remaining. Michael Krum has made his move. He's got himself to a point on a bit of a break in the middle of the corner for Alex Muller. He had to get out of the throttle. That's encouragement for... Oh, and that Corvette is off.
Yeah, it's Jeroen de Boer in the number 11 car. That's a great shame. We saw that car off in the hands of Ho Pin Tung in the first race. It's gone off in turn one into the gravel, and they'll never be able to push that out, clearly. No chance, guys, not through that gravel trap.
No, that car will be there pretty much now, I would imagine, for the remaining 7 minutes and 20-odd seconds. And the marshals vainly try to push it. It's like no chance.
No, they beach themselves in these gravel traps. They sink a long way. A big heavy car anyway. So let's see where the race director goes for the safety car. No sign of that in the moment. They may just stick with it with yellow flags in that area.
I think it'll be a localised yellow. They had a finish under the yellow flag effectively in the qualifying race. They will do everything that they possibly can to have this race run to the flag without having to once again have a safety car intervention.
Michael Krum still close in behind here for Nissan. Let's go and talk to the boss of the Nissan team, James Rumsey.
James, Michael's wanting to put the pressure on Alex. Can he take the Aston?
We hope so. He's definitely got the pace on the number 7, I believe it is. So he's taking some time out of him. We'll push for the podium.
Thank you.
He's pushing for the podium, but can he get past? That's the question. The last couple of laps, actually, the Aston Martins have started going a little quicker. I don't know whether the conditions are any better. It still looks pretty wet to me. But up front, Piccini, actually, his last lap, Piccini, wasn't so good. It was a 1:13.0. He didn't know what... Oh, right, I see. Safety car has been deployed. They've backed off. That's why their lap times are not so good.
Well, so much for my expectation for this race finishing without the safety car, without a yellow flag situation. And that's unfortunate, but in the interest of safety, that car probably in a fairly precarious position. What you're seeing now is in effect the result of the race. I don't know whether we're going to get that removed in time with just under 6 minutes remaining. It's a shame, but we have to think of safety first.
Yeah, we may not unfortunately see another racing lap. There is the team boss of the car that is leading at the moment, the Hexis Aston Martin, although just having a look, something, as a safety car picked up the wrong car, because the race leader He's not been picked up. That's very odd. Where is Andrea Piccini? Andrea Piccini should be leading this group in the Hex's Aston Martin. Either he wasn't picked up by the safety car, or he's got a problem, and I'm not quite sure what the problem or what the story is. Maybe he got it. Maybe the safety car tried to get out in front of him and failed.
Well, I don't know. He saw the concern on the pit wall, the Hex's team, hand to the mouth as if what's gone wrong. Certainly, right now we're not seeing the Hex's car in the lead of the race. We're seeing Darren Turner leading the race from Alex Muller and Michael Kroom in third place.
Yeah.
And looking down the list, where is Apache? It is down in 10th place for some reason on timing and scoring. The car has gone from leading to 10th.
So something is going on here for Hexis Racing. We're not quite clear what has happened, but right now it looks as though the young driver Aston Martins could be on top, unless it's just a procedural situation with the safety car coming out, but I don't think it is, because as the timing and scoring picks them all up, if he was ahead of the safety car he would have come around ahead, and that hasn't happened. So this is very, very strange. Something has happened to the Hexis Racing car that was leading, and there it is. Oh, he's in the gravel. Our former race leader Andrea Piccini is out, and the championship changes utterly now, because instead of it being close going into Argentina, suddenly Michael Kroom and Lucas Law are sitting very pretty. They've got a third place finish here, and these guys are out of it. What drama in Beijing.
Well, what happened? Andrea Piccini had a comfortable position. Now, the top three cars, the previous two laps, had all pushed very hard indeed. They were into the middle 11 seconds. Look at that, the despondency in the Aston Martin. Now, that's the young driver Aston Martin end of the garage, not the Hexis end of the garage, but certainly disappointment that their team fellow at Mark is no longer in the race, or not certainly in a point-scoring position.
Well,
10th place is the last place.
Talk about going from disaster to success. Lucas Law went off in qualifying yesterday in the number 23 Nissan. The championship leaders had to start from pretty much at the back of the qualifying race. It looked as though they weren't going to score many points, and their big rivals, the Lamborghini of Basseng and Winkelhock's been going well all weekend, and so as the Hexis, their other big rivals of Hohen Ardel and Piccini. It has all turned around. Kroom and Law's major challengers have gone out of this race in big way, and it means that Kroom and Law will be sitting pretty.
Yes, that's on the exit, I think, of turn 7. Whether that was a driver error or whether it was something else, we have to wait and see if we can get a replay of that. Totally unexpected. We didn't expect any pressure at the front. At the Hexis leading comfortably, well, by a second anyway, from the two young driver Astons. Andrea Piccini, well, that's coming into turn 8 out of 7 into 8.
Let's get down and see if we can learn a bit more in the pits.
Sadly, the race is over for both cars in the team. Do you know what happened?
I don't know what happened. I just want to say one word. We are the best team in the world this year. We are the best team. The best. And we are at the top.
Thank you.
Oh, you have to feel for these guys. 1 moment ago, John, they had a chance not only of winning the team's championship, but also the drivers' championship. It has all gone now, and I tell you what, Kroom and Law, if they finish where they are in third, will have almost wrapped this title up. Meanwhile, the young driver are still looking at an Aston Martin 1-2 for their team, and that would be a remarkable result, a remarkable finish. The safety car is out. It's not looking likely that we're going to go back to racing here, and it looks as though Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker will take the win. Let's just wait and see, though. I don't like to call it until we've got to the checkered flag.
The safety car may defer into the pit lane at the end of this lap, give them literally one more racing lap. But no, it's not. It's is it
staying out?
Staying out, it is.
Yeah, lights are still on, so I don't think we're going to see a restart. And this certainly has changed everything in the last few laps. We're on the last lap.
Last at coming through the exit of 6.
My God,
what
goodness
went
me.
wrong there? I mean, we've not seen a car go off there at any point on the weekend. And on the exit of turn 6 there, where they're pursuing young driver Aston Martin's, not putting any threat or challenge onto that car. And Andrea Piccini, for some reason, now we may have issues, mechanical issues we're not aware of.
Yep.
So let's give the driver the benefit of the doubt, but he is a passenger. All of a sudden, skating off the racetrack, skating into the gravel trap, and buries the Aston.
That is remarkable. I mean, Piccini's an experienced driver. Did something break? You have to wonder. did something go wrong? Because he had a comfortable lead. He didn't need to be pushing that hard, even if the cars had caught right up to him. It's so hard to pass here. Something has happened there, or Pacini's made a mistake. We'll have to find out afterwards. But it has had a massive effect on the championship, and it means that Lohr and Krum will need only a point or two, I think, when they go to Argentina to wrap up the World Championship. It has turned around completely for the German pairing.
Slow down the safety car. They wouldn't have to do as this is the final lap, so whatever happens, this is a race complete.
It is. It's all over, bar crossing the cars over the line, and Jan Struve and Hardy Fischer will be able to celebrate a young driver 1-2 finish for Aston Martin. And I tell you what, this will also be a very big day for Stefan Mucker, because it'll be his first win. Oh, look, the safety car nearly went off there. The safety car got into a huge slide. So they come round to take the checkered flag, and it's victory for Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker. Mucker wins his first ever GT1 championship race. Second goes to Alex Muller and Thomas Enger. Thomas celebrating his 35th birthday tomorrow. Nearly got the win, but not quite. But it's Michael Krum and Lucas Lohr who are really in a great position in the championship, courtesy of third.
Well, who could have predicted the outcome of this one? But look at the joy in the young driver Aston Martin pit lane.
Yes!
2 victories. We had saw 2 victories for Ford last week in Nordos. 2 victories now for Aston Martin. And there is delight. I suspect that'll be a lot of schnapps and there'll be a few cigars tonight.
Yeah. Hardy Fischer, the brains behind the team. Jan Struve, owner of those young driver cars, who's put this GT1 campaign together that has run so successfully for the last 2 years. Their first win since Nürburgring last year in the championship race. So absolutely stunning performance by both their cars. And one race, John, they had one car leading and it swapped at the pit stops, and it did exactly the same in the second race.
Yes, and just great teamwork all around. Stefan Mucker with a smile on his face. He hasn't had that on for quite some time. Did his job in the opening stint, kept the car in contention. Darren took over, and well, it was the misfortune of Andrea Pacini. We don't know yet what the cause was, but sometimes you've got to be lucky rather than fast, and that was the case. Darren was fast, not fast enough to challenge the Hexus Aston Martin for victory, but good enough to take victory when the Hexus car went into the gravel.
It has been an eventful day here in China with massive implications in terms of the championship. Lohr and Krum virtually crowned now because they have a big lead in the points table. We'll confirm that in a little while. But the Aston Martin's coming out on top. It could have been an Aston Martin 1-2-3. It wasn't to be in the end because of Andrea Pacini going off. And look at the big smiles on the faces of everybody here. Thomas Enger, well, second place in the end. His teammates got the victory this time, but well done to Darren Turner. He was in the right place at the right time when the lead car went off. And he's also congratulating Lucas Lohr, and Lucas will be massively relieved after their point situation looks so strong. But actually, of course, Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker, I must say, actually, they have put themselves a little bit into that championship hunt. I must not discount them because they were on 95 points coming into this race. So actually, Lohr and Krum won't have it all their own way because these guys will still be in a chance of the championship chase themselves.
Well, how much fortunes have changed in the space of these 2 events here in Beijing at Golden Port Circuit. A circuit that really 2.4 kilometres around. It's a busy racetrack. It's a super little racetrack, as it turns out. I think everybody here this weekend has enjoyed driving on it. But what a switch around in fortunes.
A massive turnaround. But there's one thing that has been consistent, and that is Aston Martin's performance.
And again, I mean, we had 3 Astons on the podium in the qualifying race, 2 Astons on the podium, should have been 3 in the championship race.
So, yeah, Darren will go to Argentina with a chance of winning that championship again. It's a bit like last year when they were quite a long way back, but they still had a chance. And, well, they will go once more to Argentina, where the Aston Martin, I have to say, works well. They will have ballast on board, though, as a result of their performances here. And last year, that did seem to hold them back. Anyway, that's for another time. That's for a fantastic finale that we're all looking forward to. Let's just focus on what has gone on here today, and let's get down to our successful crew. They are Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker.
Congratulations on a mega weekend, Darren. You must be happy to have that over and done with. What a challenge it was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, great race. probably the most difficult of the year. Really difficult conditions, and at one point we're leading, at one point we're second, and I'm just really grateful when the hexes went off and then the safety car came out. It sort of brought the race to an end, but it was a good race in just very difficult conditions.
Congratulations, Stefan. A nice battle there between yourselves and the sister car.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I've done just 3 race laps, so it was quite not so long for me. But it was quite difficult conditions, so it was absolutely the right decision also to start the race behind the safety car. It was not easy. Darren did a great job. The team did a perfect pit stop, so thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
Big smiley face for Stefan Mucker, former DTM driver, and raced with his father's team, Mucker Motorsport, way back in the early days in his Formula BMW career, and again in DTM, in fact. But this is a major victory that he'll be delighted about. Second place, of course, going to Thomas Enger and Alex Muller. Thomas will be celebrating that, I'm sure.
Congratulations, Alex. Did you enjoy this new track?
Thanks. Yeah, the track is great. The weather conditions were like we're supposed to have it in England, but when we raced at Silverstone was nice. So now I'm happy for the team. Great result, first, second, good for the team championship. Yeah, thanks to Thomas, thanks to the crew, thanks to the team. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ari. I hear the celebration starting behind us already.
Yeah, I think so. Now tonight a big party. I hope so. We have time for this. It was the second double victory now for us, and I say thank you to the team. It was a great job the whole weekend, and I love China.
Congratulations, Thomas. Aston definitely performed well here. You have so many fans and friends and family supporting you here. What a result for the whole team.
Yeah, I mean, definitely what a surprise for us, because we thought it's not going to be circuit for Aston Martin, and we've been pretty good the whole weekend, including dry qualifying. So thanks to the team. Can see how hard our boss is happy, and we are happy too. Team standing, driver standing, we all move up, and we're looking forward to the last race.
Thank you.
Yeah, they have earned some good points. And I tell you what, the team standing, young driver, I reckon may well be leading after that 1-2 finish. We'll check the points in a little while. So they finished in second place, but Lucas Luhr and Michael Krum finished in third place with their Nissan. They are going to be leading the championship going into the final rounds in Argentina. The lead will be reasonable, won't be quite done and dusted, but they have come back from a difficult qualifying to finish third. Let's hear from them.
Congratulations, Lucas. There was a wonder there whether you're going to be able to take the Astons and finish in the top 3, and here you are.
Yeah, I mean, if you see where we started, me putting the car into the gravel bed in the first qualifying, it didn't really look like a promising weekend. But we got a fourth yesterday, third today. I didn't do much today. I just kept it on the road, and then Michael did a top job, came third. So yeah, we are happy.
And Michael, it's a great race and a safe result as well.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy. I mean, congratulations to the Astons. They had a fantastic weekend. I don't think we could match the pace. I tried everything in my stints to get close. I get closer to them, and I thought maybe I can make a move, but the guys driving these cars in front, they were top-notch, and they didn't make one move wrong, except the leader, luckily for us. So a big thank you to Nissan, to the team, for a fantastic car, coming from 16s originally after the incident yesterday. To be on the podium, it's like a dream. We haven't expected it.
Thank you.
So indeed, they remember only too vividly how they felt after qualifying yesterday. Let's look at those results then. It's an Aston Martin 1-2, and young drivers celebrating another double podium here after a tremendous weekend. Stefan Mucker and Darren Turner taking victory over teammates Thomas Enger and Alex Muller, but Lucas Luhr and Michael Krum looking good for the championship with that third place. The Ford of Max Martin and Bertrand Baguette finished fourth after Martin's stunning opening stint, which got the car into the lead. Katzberg and Bernoldi getting in the points there. Good result for their Nissan as well in fifth place. And Michael Rossi and Nico Verdon, solid sixth place in the Exton Bank Team China car. Westbrook and Dubrek had a quiet weekend, only coming home in seventh place, just ahead of their Sumo Power colleagues of Jamie Campbell-Walter and David Brabham. Then the Lamborghini of Lauke and Lohenberger finished in ninth place, ahead of the car that went off at the end there, still getting a point, the Hohenadel Piccini car, but Andrea Piccini, well, he must be feeling terrible. If it was his mistake, we'll have to find out. Hope in Tonglen, the Den Boer went out. Henrici and Leinders had problems with their Ford as well. Look at the list of retirements. So many cars either caught out in these conditions or as a result of contact with other vehicles, or perhaps mechanical problem, as in the case of the number 37 Lamborghini. But we lost a lot of cars early on in the race, and really survival was what it was all about today, getting to the end, particularly of the championship race, which the Aston Martins did in some style. So it's been a very eventful day, John, and the fans who've come along to watch hopefully have had a good taste of what GT1 racing's all about.
It'd been lovely if they had a day like Friday where it was clear blue skies, beautiful Beijing weather, but nonetheless they've had two cracking events. They've seen, heard sights they've never seen before in Beijing. There we see the car coming, some of the cars that are all around the circuit. That's sadly that lead Aston Martin. And just, you know, well, that's not the lead one, but the Aston Hexus team, so strong in those conditions. Andrea Piccini, I would love to know if he's prepared to say what happened. I suspect if it was down to him, he'll want to run away and hide, because that was a race victory which was going to be his.
I'll tell you what, this is interesting. It's the only podium that Lucas Law and Michael Krum have had, except for race victories this year. If they've been on the podium at all, they've won the race. But other times they haven't got on the podium. This is the sort of performance that wins you championships. But these guys are right in the battle now, not right behind Krum and Law, but certainly in with a shout. And they will be looking forward to that trip to Argentina, won't they? To see whether they can keep them under pressure, as they're the team owner for Young Driver. He is loving every moment of it. Jan Struve, 1-2.
Well, the thing about going to Argentina, the racetrack there, 4-point-something miles around, the antithesis of what this is in Beijing. So let's have the anthems.
Four German drivers on that podium, and all German teams. Young Driver is a German team, and of course you've got the German Nissan keep there of Krum and Lucas Law. So China seems to have favoured the Germans this weekend, John.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend. I mean, three top teams, but 6 really outstanding professional drivers. And that's class. Class always shines through, and that's what we've seen here today.
So, third place for Lucas Law and Michael Krum. Coming back from the difficulties of qualifying at the back of the field, it just shows you that in GT1 you never give up, you keep pushing. And Michael Krum was evidence of that this weekend, the way he drove. Second place going to Thomas Enger and Alex Muller. And, of course, the winning trophy is going to Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker. Stefan enjoying this moment for the first time, and the team trophy going to Young Driver, of course, after an absolutely superb weekend. Got a feel for Hexus. They had that race in the bag. They beat them fair and square until Piccini went off.
Absolutely, that car was clearly the best car at that particular time. But you've got to finish, and whatever the reasons are, we hopefully will get that to you shortly. But huge disappointment for Andrea Piccini. He did a great job, and all of a sudden skating round and round and round, and there we go. A little bit of play for the boys. There's a surprise.
He's going to get absolutely covered, and he won't forget this moment in a hurry. Lovely. All his efforts and investment that he's put into this team over the last 2 years, thoroughly rewarded here today, and with the bonus being that they are now really challengers, particularly in the team's championship, because they've got a big opportunity of taking that team's title and a bit of a chance still of the drivers' championship.
I think I better book my flight to Argentina, Ben.
It's going to be great. It is going to be an amazing finale, absolutely. And these guys are going to have a long night here.
Sure, they will have a long night. I mean, they're all going to get bladdered. There's no question about it.
Nobody's flying out because they've got the Olympic Park to go to.
And wherever they're going to be partying, stay away, because it's going to be wild.
It's going to be mad. Yeah, they've got to be in some sort of form tomorrow for the display and demonstrations that are going on in the Olympic Park, but they don't need to be quite as sharp, perhaps, as they were today. So they will be able to have some fun and games this evening. So many congratulations to those guys. Let's look at the points, John. 131 points for Krum and Law. But look, Muka and Turner, you know, they are very much still in the hunt.
And
11 points.
You can see how quickly fortunes switch around. All of a sudden, Darren Turner and Stefan Muka are realistically in a chance to take the championship. If anything happens to Krum and Lure, they are the favourites.
Basseng and Winkelhock really almost out of it, as are Hohenadel and Piccini. They would need pretty much a miracle to still challenge, but the championship is not all over yet. Michael Krum and Lucas Law will have to try and work hard in Argentina. So there's some of the mechanics enjoying the moment as well, celebrating that. And young driver, as I say, certainly picking up so many points in the team's championship. Look, yeah, they've gone to the lead. Young driver AMR now lead the team's classification from JR Motorsports and Hexis AMR. It could have been so different if Andrea Piccini had finished that race, but he did not. And so it is now a 10-point advantage for the young driver Aston Martin team going into the final event. JR Motorsports will need both cars of Krum and Law and Westbrook and Dumbreck to perform well there if they're going to have a chance of taking that team's title. So, teams there, and Alinkel certainly losing out this weekend. As we know, they had a very tough time with their Lamborghinis. Mark Basseng was out right at the start of that race, contact with another car, pitching him into the gravel trap, and that meant there was no chance to score any points. Let's go and hear from Jan Struve now, who's still busy celebrating. So, we will have to try and see whether there's a chance to talk to him. We will in a second, because they are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. 1-2 in the qualifying race, and as it turned out, 1-2 in the championship race as well. And we'll have a quick word with them any second, just seeing the cars in Parc Fermé, where of course they have to remain until the scrutineers are happy that they've all met the various regulations.
Yeah, of course, all the work is pretty much finished for us and for principally for the drivers, but the engineers, the mechanics in these teams will now have to spend a considerable amount of time cleaning the cars down, whatever work might need to be attended to. Some of them got damage, accident damage, before these cars then turn up tomorrow downtown Beijing, at the Olympic Park, to put on a display in advance of hopefully going back to the Olympic Park for a round of the FIA for a GT1 World Championship.
Yeah, hopefully next year we will see the cars on that circuit, which would be great fun to see. Let's go back down to Haley now and hear from the young driver team owner.
Congratulations, Jan. There's so much support here for you, and obviously great to have your son here with you for the weekend.
Yeah, it's terrific, you know. It's the first time, you know, so it's you can see the crowd, you know, they are fantastic, and they have so much deserved it. The drivers have deserved it, the team has deserved it. Oh, at the big release with the podium, you know, it's the first time we're on the top, you know, so we love it. So we come back to China.
It's raining in China!
Well, you can see how much he's enjoying the moment here, and Jan Struve going to be enjoying it a lot longer. Let's take a look, John, at the highlights of today's activities now.
Well, the highlights are almost the lowlights, with the rain that fell just forward all morning, continued through the lunch break and into the start of the championship race.
Yep, and the start was under safety car because the conditions were deemed to be too difficult for the cars to go racing straight away. As the safety car came in after several laps, then, of course, they were starting single file. No problems up front for Thomas Enger, who'd opened up an initial lead, but problems straight away for championship contender Mark Basseng.
Indeed, this was what happened when this race got underway. And in fact, and asked one of the Hexus cars, Dusseldorf, he hadn't a problem, but he made a problem for himself. He drove into the gravel. There's the Ford GT in the front of the car, Jonathan Hershey. That was out of the race. Crash, bang, one of three cars, Ford GT, and that was that Baz Landers.
Yeah, well, Max Martin was making ground, but there was a puncture for Richard Westbrook. That dropped them down the field, and Dominic Schweger was also out in the number 37 Alinkel car, dropping both Lamborghinis from that team out of the race. As the race got underway once again, Enger in charge. There was a good challenge going on for second place with Hohenadel. And then the pit stops came around, and that changed things because the Gulf liveried car ended up losing the advantage, and it was this car of Stefan Muka and Darren Turner that did gain the edge at that point. But as they got out in front of their teammates, what we hadn't counted on quite was the Hohenadel was still charging on in the Hexis car. And meanwhile, incidents behind.
Yeah, it's going on all around the back of the circuit, but it was the performance. This is a battle that went on with the Krum Lure car up the hill into turn 10. just out-grunts the Ford GT, and that's Bertrand Baguette behind the wheel. Great battle went on. Nicky Verdonk in the Corvette, finally squeezing past the Nissan into turn 13.
Yeah, Bas Linders was out of the race, sadly, after a little bit of contact in the first corner. Nico Verdonk and Enrique Benoldi's battle continued until this moment where Verdonk finally made the move stick.
Yeah, but eventually Benoldi got past. That was the incident. The race leader skating off the racetrack out of turn 6 into the gravel, and we still don't know why.
Ficini out, and that meant the lead was handed to Darren Turner on a plate. The safety car was out. That's how it finished. Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker led home, and Aston Martin 1-2 with Engram Muller in second place. It's been fabulous here in China. It'll happen again in Argentina soon. Be with us then. Bye-bye for now.